Lee Lifestyle Architect. And this series, you guys, is all about supporting women to unlocking, unblocking, releasing any limiting beliefs, insecurities, fears, doubts, worries that you have when it comes particularly to money. And so what I have collaborated with is all of these international experts to support you in the secrets to success, the secrets to abundance, and really living a divine luxury lifestyle. And so I've hand-selected each of these experts to support you in this journey. They are going to be giving you tips and tools to really transform your money relationship. And today I'm so excited for this expert. Ricci-Jane Adams is someone that is so magical, and I can't wait for her and I to delve into the topic today, which we're going to be talking about unlocking the mystic in money. But before we go there, I just want to share a little bit about who she is. Ricci-Jane Adams has a PhD, is the principal of Lightworker Institute, and the creator of Intuitive Intelligence Method. The aim of the Institute is to lead the revolution in excellence in the intuitive sciences. She teaches all around Australia, including offering training in her flagship Intuitive Intelligence 2-day workshop through to the 12-month intensive, which is the third level, contributing to a new generation of gold standard, wildly abundant intuitive readers, mentors, coaches, and healers. Her mission is to connect as many people as she can to the hands-on, to the wisdom, the God voice that resides inside each of us. We are all intuitive, and in decades of immersive learning and applied research, Ricci has created a system that powerfully connects people to their sixth sense. She has a doctorate from the University of Melbourne in magical realism. She is a qualified transpersonal counselor, Reiki master, and trained in EMF balancing technique. She has spent over 20 years devoted to her spiritual awakening and is here with us today to share it with you. I'm so excited to welcome her.
Thank you. That's quite an intro.
That was quite an intro. I'm like, wow, this woman's fucking awesome. Like, I have her on the phone right now. This is so exciting.
Oh, well, I feel exactly the same way about you, darling. I've been stalking you since we met, and you're just so vibrant. You are going to change the world. There is no question.
I just had chills. I can't wait to actually meet you in person and hug you. And you have to be impressed because I'm from the States, and for all you United States American girls out there, you know that when we say Melbourne, we actually say Melbourne.
Yeah,
when I introduced you, I took much pride in saying, and she's from Melbourne, because that's
Melbourne.
How you got to say it.
Yeah, you got it right. Just drop all the vowels.
Drop all the vowels, exactly.
Yeah.
But I'd love to hear, I mean, I know you've been doing this work for such a long time, for 20 years, which is a really decent amount of your life. And so I'm sure you've seen so much transform. And so I'd love for you to share just maybe a little bit about, how you got to doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I have a pretty privileged path, I think, because I say 20 years, but, I was born to a mother who is a really profound master channel. And so pretty much since I was tiny, I've been, taken along to see these great spiritual teachers all over the world. And it was just part of my reality. There was never a question of, am I spiritual? Do I have a soul? Am I intuitive? I was just simply raised to know that was just normal. And I think that is such an advantage when you think about the amount of time that most people have to spend to overcome the limitations of our cultural indoctrination, which says you are just human, you're just biology, you don't have this magical sixth sense. And I never had any of that disadvantage. So, really, I'm 40 this year, so really it's like 4 decades. But I guess, in my early 20s, I really took it on as my own personal choice. And I guess that's the thing, is that it's like anything. When we're raised to believe something, we also have to spend time then as adults deciding if that is the right belief system for us. And I was very lucky to kind of realize that I'd been initiated very early on to what is my path, which is to live my truth, energy first, physical second. And that's sort of where I spent my entire life, is kind of learning more and more about that.
I love that. And I love that I love that you started at such a young age exploring, and I think that we're finding nowadays that this, spiritual exploration on really who am I, what is my purpose, what am I here for, is starting younger and younger and younger. So I think it's really exciting times I have a 12-year-old. He's 9. I don't know why I just added 3 years to him, but I have a 9-year-old stepson, and he's so curious, and he loves like my sage and my crystals, and just he loves the mystical world. And when I talk to him about money too, Ricky, you'll laugh, because he's just always like, we can create that, we can do that. It's never like, oh, we can't have that. He's like, well, what are we going to make to do that? And I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Starting that entrepreneurialism really young, but that is part of delimiting belief generally. And I love that, alongside of that entrepreneurialism is, let's talk about crystals and sage and just introducing the possibility that the world is more magnificent and bigger and more exciting than we were potentially or possibly taught as children.
Yeah, absolutely. I always say, when people question or doubt the mysticism of the world and the magic of the world, I say, if you look up in the night sky and you see these like billions and trillions of stars, knowing that each one of those contains a galaxy, and you think that there's no magic out there, like, how can you not? There's so much. Or like the other day you'll appreciate this, I was on a walk in the woods for this photo shoot that I was having, and I talk to the trees and the plants and stuff, and I'm just thinking, whoa, like even these plants, like sometimes it just blows me away, like the magic of a plant, like it has this intelligence and this knowing, but we just don't communicate. Yeah. So that's a deep rabbit hole, but I just love the magic that we have, and I'm excited that you're going to share with us the magic that you perform, and when it correlates to money.
Yeah, absolutely. And because, money, I'm sure every single guest is going to say the same thing, money is just currency. It's just a form of energy. And when we get over all of our fears around it, we're actually simply imitating the abundance of that universe. As you say, look at the night sky. Oh my God, it's infinite. And that is our nature too. So how do we tap into that nature in our everyday life, especially in terms of our entrepreneurialism? And, I have some really wonderful insight and ideas around that, because of course that's my job, is to look at the world and everything in it from the position of energy first, physical second. And it's a much more powerful place to create from, because it's not limited by physical reality. It's inviting physical reality to show up in accordance with our energetic invitation.
Yeah, I love that. I was just telling a story this morning on my Facebook Live to all of my listeners, was like that when I only tap into the finite being of who Malaine is, so just Malaine's own will, I get exhausted pretty quickly. I get tired and exhausted. And on mornings when I wake up and I feel a little bit tired, I just say, okay, universe, God, spirit, source, whoever your higher power is, I choose to say God, work through me today so that I do have the energy to be of service to myself and others. And just asking for that and moving out of my way gives me the permission. And I think that money is the same, like money is just energy, just like you and I, and connecting to that infinite abundance and the possibilities that can be created with it don't limit us to just it being a currency.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I'm sure you're going to have lots of amazing experts talking about just that, and that idea that our belief or our feeling is the prayer that's calling upon the universe to draw more of what we desire. And so, waking up in the morning and praying to God, who I always use that term also, I'm very comfortable with that idea as God as a non-religious, infinite source of power, that we are also made from the same stuff. We are that stuff. You want more energy, you ask for more energy, and the universe simply bows down to you because you are a master and says, yes, whatever you want. So, I want to talk a little bit differently about the idea of how we can actually tap into our infinite nature, because I know you'll have lots of great experts talking about, energy follows thought and all of that kind of stuff. I'm very excited about us really deepening into our knowing that all time, all space, all that ever will be, and all that ever was is now. and creating our businesses from that place. So, my business now, Lightworker Institute, I began in 2014. I really sort of got it going in mid 2015, and I now have, a business that is six-figure business. It's growing exponentially. It's absolutely blowing my mind. And of course, I'm also absolutely certain of why. My mind is blown, and I'm also absolutely expecting it to keep doing the same, more and more of that. And that's because I am absolutely tapping into this power, and I'd love to share it with this tool with you and your listeners right now, Malaine, if you're interested.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's rock it.
Okay. So let's all just assume, I'm guessing everybody who listens to you is already tuned into the idea that they're infinite in some way, that their power to create is pretty much there. Some days we do it better than others, but we're all on board with that idea. It's not a difficult concept for those of us. Entrepreneurs tend to think, even if they're not spiritual, we tend to think divergently. We tend to be quite open, and we're always looking for the hacks that are going to increase our power and our success. So one of the tools that I use is to tap into that sense that we are simply always in the ever-present now. And I'll take us through a little visualization if you like. I'll describe it first, and then we can do it together.
Yeah, I'm open. Let's do it.
Yeah. So this practice is, instead of going into your business, into your, for me, my business is my calling, as I'm sure it is for you. It's my purpose. Instead of going into it with a sense of weight of, I need to try and convince people to spend their time and money with me, and that I'm jumping into an overly full, area, and there's lots of people in my space, and how am I going to be noticed? Instead of working from that deficit mindset, which I'm sure you don't work from, but many people do, especially on our bad days when we're feeling fear that, oh my God, I look around me, there's so many amazing people already doing what I do. Why in God's name would they choose me rather than someone else? What we can do is tap into that infinite, timeless, eternal aspect of ourselves. And we call forward all those who agreed to work with me even before we took on human form. All those that have said yes for us to co-create, to partner in this lifetime through the offer, through my soul's calling, may they be activated now. And that all over the planet, wherever they may be, they will wake up and they will remember that we made this agreement because it was in accordance with our highest good. So I move out of the belief that I'm trying to convince or manipulate or bribe or even with love, get people to notice me. And I move simply back into the soul contract, knowing that the intelligence of the universe is infinite, that down to the tiniest detail, everything has been arranged. So we always have choice. We have free will. That's what makes us humans unique. But what if I make it effortless for those who said yes to work with me, to find me? And that's not because I have a really big advertising budget. I have no advertising budget. I don't invest in my marketing at all. I work energetically, and I use that tool. And then I see myself as though I'm sitting on top of the entire planet, and lights go on, like, when we see the planet from outer space at nighttime, and you see that web of lights lighting up the globe, and I see those lights turn on, and those are my people that said yes to me, and I said yes to them, and we uniquely are destined to work together, who may not find me if I don't amplify my energy. The world is a really big place. We get busy, we get lost in our lives, we forget the contracts we made, and I make it impossible for people not to find me. And I have to tell you, Malaine, I have almost daily clients who come to me and say, I do not know how I found you, but I did. It was like divine intervention. I have no idea how I connected with you. And I laugh because I say, well, I know. I know exactly what happened, but it's, it happens daily. So I'd love to take us through that practice if you like, and we can actually experience it.
I have the chills, and I'm so excited for you to bring us through this, because I've been hearing the same message on This Is How You Call Forward, and I always say to people that our contracts are already done. So whatever kind of business you're in, so even if you're not an entrepreneur, just to clarify with some of you ladies, if you're not an entrepreneur and you're not a business or a businesswoman owning, that's okay, because this still applies to job promotions, relationships, love life, everything.
Yeah, everything. You know, this is, as you say, this is just us getting in flow with the universe, which is always working on our behalf. And it is absolutely, applicable to every aspect of our life. Every breath can feel like it is being supported and guided when we get out of our own way. And, you know, if you practice this technique and you're still finding that there isn't that abundance of clients and money coming towards you, or whatever it is that you're intending, then there's some good information in that. And I think that's the other side, and we can talk about this later or perhaps at another time, that it's also really valuable to see when you're getting really good feedback from the universe. Maybe I need to adjust my offer. Maybe I need to just be more authentic. Maybe I need to look a little bit more closely at what I'm doing and see, is this actually me in my zone of genius, to use Gay Hendricks language? And you know, not to be afraid, but you know when you're on the right path, when you use this practice and you have that daily experience of people just saying, I don't know how I found you, but I did, and I know I have to work with you. So yeah, let's go in. I'll keep it brief. It can be, you know, it can be such a simple, really quick technique. There's no excuse not to do this every day. And it's really what I believe has created my six-figure business, my institute, which is just exponentially expanding. And yeah, as I say, with no marketing budget, no kind of hard sell. I haven't invested in anybody to do the sales for me. I turn up every day, of course, in the 3D reality. But I don't do it without doing this first. So
awesome. Take it away.
If everybody who's listening in right now, if you're safe to do so, closing down your eyes. If not, you can listen back to this later. And you can just listen whilst paying attention to whatever else you're supposed to be doing. But if you are safe, close down your eyes. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Let it go out through the mouth with a sigh. Just letting go of all the effort required to bring you to this point in your day, and allowing all those disparate pieces of you to come home to this ever-present now. And just taking 2 fingers to the center of your chest, just letting your physiology know that we're deferring to the wisdom of our heart's intelligence, that our heart brain is in charge now, and that physical touch just signals to our whole physiology that this is where we're operating from. And feeling that sense of expansion that comes naturally as soon as we turn inwards to our mystical nature, the world within the world, the place where we truly make magic happen, where we stop thinking like a human and we become infinite once more. And just holding, even for a few breaths, a feeling of compassion. Perhaps bringing to mind someone or something for which you feel appreciation. And letting your energy field, that consciousness that surrounds you, become the driver. Just gently placing your hands back in your lap or wherever is comfortable for you. Feel, sense, think about or imagine a spark of light at the center of your chest. And with every breath in and out, that light begins to expand effortlessly outwards, moving through your physical body, lighting up every cell, through your subtle anatomy, your energy field, outwards now to fill the entire room in which you sit easily, gracefully. That light expands with ease, effortlessness, elegance, outwards now to fill your entire building, and then the whole block or region in which you sit, bathed in the light of your consciousness. And still that light expands, no effort required. This is your natural state. Taking up the whole state or county or region. Your light bathing everything and everyone, raining down like blessings. And still that light expands to fill the whole country. And in the next breath, no effort required. Your light expands to encircle the globe. And see or feel or sense yourself now as though you are sitting on top of the entire planet, holding it in your expanded consciousness, your light blessing everything and everyone. And now say silently or out loud to yourself, may all those who have agreed to work with me, to connect with me, to support me and whom I may support, may they be activated now. May we find one another with ease and grace to support our soul's awakening. And in your mind's eye, see the planet as though you're looking at it from a very far distance. And a network of lights, all these potential collaborators, clients, partners, friends, support team. They're being switched on like lights. Seeing the planet from that great God sight. That web or network of all those who play a part in your unfolding journey. Effortlessly finding you now. And take a moment now to bring your hands into prayer position, Anjali Mudra, over your heart chakra, and simply bow in gratitude for the infinite intelligence of the universe of which you are a divine piece. That even before it is uttered, this prayer is answered. And that certainty, that trust in your co-creative partner ensures that your success is inevitable. Take a deep breath in now, let it go out through the mouth. Bring some gentle movement back to your body. And when you're ready, just blinking, open your eyes.
Oh my goodness, that was amazing, Ricky. I literally have tears in my eyes, and because I obviously did the exercise with you, and I'm like, I need to own Ricky in my life.
Well, I'm very happy to hang out with you as often as you want, my darling. You are pure
Awesome.
magic.
Thank you. Well, I will say the same for you. I'm a little bit tongue-tied right now. That was such a powerful exercise. Wow, you are totally magic. And I encourage all of you ladies that didn't get to do it in this moment, set aside some time. That only took about 5 minutes or so. Just set aside some time later tonight. And is that something that you do daily?
When I'm not consumed by the demands of motherhood, but when I'm in my flow, absolutely. That practice, I think, it feels so good anyway. And it's, that beautiful opening, that sense of expansion and interconnectedness of all life is even that on its own is such a profound practice. But when you take it to that intentionality, that level of intentionally calling forth those who are contracted, soul contracted to work with you, it's my very strong intention to do it daily. And, I would say that in an ideal world, I would be doing it every day. But even a couple of times a week, I've seen I've seen miracles transpire, like people who needed me and I needed them, because that's what service always is. It's a two-way street, you know. We don't have to get caught up in believing that we're burdened when we feel like we're on a path of service. That's actually the best, most fun that I can possibly have with my life. But I also know that I'm invaluable, and I am absolutely certain of my worth. And I know that I am calling forth those who are ready to work with me, and my abundance is inevitable. My success is inevitable. That's one of my favorite mantras, Malaine. I use that all the time. My success is inevitable. And not because I'm caught up in my ego, but because I'm lining up with that God voice. I know that I am being guided. And if I wasn't, if things stopped, I would look at that. I would review that and say, maybe I just stepped out of my flow and into my ego. And that's just a small, all I got to do is take that information rather than getting caught up in fear, and tweak what I'm doing and get back into flow. And that's where intuition, that's what I teach, is intuitive intelligence, is not being afraid of the information that you're getting, because that's usually what happens. People are afraid of their intuition. It's not that they don't have it. They're just terrified of what it's telling them. So they pretend they can't hear it. And that's...
Yeah, I love mantras, and I love this new mantra, which I'm totally going to add. I know I gave you an idea earlier. Well, I'm taking your idea of this mantra of my success is inevitable. And you know, one of my favorite mentors and people that I look up to is Tony Robbins. And he said, I mean, he's been doing this work for 40 some odd years. And he's a very spiritual person and very into light work and stuff like that. And he had said, like, your business is 80% your mindset, 80% your belief system. And that all is based on, and all of the CEOs that have been super successful, like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and all of these people that have had massive success, all of them, and they're men too. So I think a lot of times as ladies, we're like, well, we're naturally intuitive, and men, aren't so much. But they've been on record saying that their success is based, and the biggest decisions they made that were the keys to unlocking their success were all intuitively based. Nothing that made sense tangibly in a logistical way or statistical way. It was all intuitive based. So I love this energy. I don't know, what do you call it, a prayer or meditation that you brought us through, because that really connects us with our intuition and the connection that we have to the planet.
Yeah, absolutely. The interconnectedness of all life. And that's really, that I would love to get into the science of the intuitive intelligence and how it actually is a function of the heart, not just the metaphysical heart, but the biological heart has a brain in it. And that brain is made up of the same substance as the cranial brain, but the brain in the heart receives the information first and tells the brain what to do with that information. So we literally, the intuitive intelligence, our heart's intelligence is intuition. It is actually our primary intelligence. And when you are such a realized person as all of those incredible leaders that you spoke of, you're not afraid to be in your heart's intelligence, because the evidence is so freaking good for how well that works. And, there's an incredible spiritual scientist called Greg Braden, who I'm sure many of your listeners are familiar with. But if you're not, don't think this is just spiritual woo-woo. This is hardcore, scientific, verified, evidence-based information that when we tap into it, we are actually going to produce lives that are akin to those great leaders that you spoke of. We are all that unlimited potential. It's not special or unique. It's just that some of us get it more quickly. And if you don't, just spend more time breaking down the barriers in your brain to allow yourself to think like the infinite universe that you are.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think that that's really important. And a lot of these celebrities and, profoundly powerful, successful people, they come out and say very often, it's like, I'm really no different than you. Like, be super clear. The only difference was that, they believed in themselves, they trusted their intuition, they trusted themselves, and they got that, like, we are the universe. I remember I got my blood taken a few months ago, back in September of 2016, And when she put just a little, just a little droplet of my blood under the microscope, and then it blew up on the computer screen. And I out loud said, "Oh my God, I have God in me." And she said, "Yes, you do." And I knew that I did, but it was like all of a sudden consciously I looked on the screen and saw these like blood cells that looked like little bursts of like white light and stars, and it just looked like the cosmos. And I'm like, oh my God, we are the universe. In that moment, I just got it on a really, in a really tangible way. And I love that you back up science. This isn't just woo-woo. This is also scientifically proven stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. My background is as a researcher. I have a PhD because I love to think deeply. I love to spend a long time learning, and I geek out on this stuff. And, that's why I call myself an intuition expert. It's simply because I've spent way too long reading, researching, thinking, and living these tools. And that's just it. It's like we actually have to have a sense of inner discipline, or what Vishen Lakhiani calls blisscipline, where we actually say, I won't just know this, I will practice these tools every day, because they will become so blissful that I can't imagine my life without them. And that that opening to feel the interconnectedness of all life, even if you stopped there, that is one of the most profound tools that you could use to build anything that you want, whether it's your business, the life of your dreams, the relationship of your dreams, whatever it is. It's about understanding that you're not doing this on your own, but you're connected to an infinite intelligence that's actually trying to communicate with you if you'll just get out of the way and receive it.
Yeah, amen. I mean, I love everything that you are sharing with us, and I think it's so important that, this series is obviously called The Money Revolution, right? So it is technically about money, but I think what the women will get clear on as they listen to each expert, that it actually isn't about the money.
Yeah.
And that if we get that on a really deep level, that like all our needs are always being met, everything's always working out for you, all these contracts to support you, to love you, to lift you up, to make sure your needs are met, like, through right now we appreciate each other through the transaction and energy of money. Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so long as we know that we're always taken care of, the money will never be the problem. Like I literally just was saying to someone the other day, Ricky, I don't worry about money anymore. It's not that the fears aren't there or the doubts aren't there. They still are, just like they were, 15 years ago. But the difference is for me now is that the way I interact with them is so vastly different. I don't interact with it as though it's, a problem or an issue anymore.
Yeah. I have tattooed on my arm, Malaine, the very question that's changed my life, which is, what if there is no problem? And that's, that is not about saying, as you say, it's not that the problems go away. It's that your worry about them will not in any way solve them. So you can't look at the problem of, I do not have enough money, and focus on that, as I'm sure many of your guests are going to confirm, and see a resolution of that problem. So rather, we need to look at this as information or evidence. Okay, so the money's not flowing in the way that I thought it would when I set up my business. There's some good information in there. Maybe I am not quite as far along my path of service as I thought I was. Maybe my offer is even more interesting and exciting, and I've just stopped at the first point or my first idea. And rather than going into fear, to be curious about why things are working differently to how we expected. And the other side of that, of course, as you know, is to surrender. And surrender is actually trust in your co-creative partner, the universe. It's surrenders, the action of surrender is trust. And it's the hardest thing in the world for us to let go of the human to merge with our divine nature. But that is what the mystic does. And it takes practice. It's not natural, because nothing in our world says you are a mystical energy being with infinite power to create. We have to tell ourselves that. We have to surround ourselves with people who remind us of that. And then we have to input the new data that will change the program that our computer is running, so that we're literally just tuning into the world at a different frequency. And that's not magic. It's everything I teach in my intuitive intelligence workshop, because I know there is a system, I live the system, and I'm seeing the benefits of it, and everyone else can do that too.
Yeah, I love that you say all of this, Ricci, because I think what's really important is that people know that this isn't some esoteric, nice idea. This is something that you've experienced, you've been through, you've created a system, and now you're implementing it into your life. And I think that more and more as we go through in life, what we will find as the consciousness is, and the vibration of the planets being raised is that people are sharing from experience. They're sharing from what they've went through. I share that I experienced, an eating disorder for a really large portion of my life. And it wasn't until someone else, another being who was obviously had a contract with me to remind me of who I really was, when she shared, hey, I got through this. You can too. There's something bigger here at play. I was like, whoa, you're right. Not these, all these other doctors and things like that came up to me and were like picking and probing me, telling me that, I might not make it, or I might always have this problem. Like, I had a doctor that actually said, you may just always have this problem. And I was like, that's not the life I want to live. Like, I don't want this problem. So I love that you have that question also tattooed. What a great reflective question to ask ourselves on a daily basis.
It's absolutely changed my life, and I wrote an article for Elephant Journal about this question and how it's worked in my life, and it's had nearly 60,000 views, because I think people really need or are desiring tools that are going to help them reframe their feelings of fear, because fear is just a messenger, but it is also the thing, if unmet, will block all of our sense of connection to our intuitive intelligence and the infinite that is trying to communicate with us. So really, the workshop that I teach is 2 days of getting fearless, but in a very practical, systematic, step-by-step, repeatable, take it home and keep doing it way. Because, as you say, we want to demystify this. This is not actually magic. The results are magic. The results are insane. I just have, within 2 years, created the life of my dreams, and it gets better every single day because of just taking the fear out of it, or being unafraid to meet the fear. And that's the difference.
Amen. It's
I have a bad habit of getting my preach on, so forgive me for, you do kind of need to go, amen, sister. Yeah.
No, I agree with everything you're saying. There's really nothing I can add to that. I mean, amen is really the only thing that I can add to it, because I think that everything you're saying is so in alignment with, the universal truth. And really, my hope is that, if I could physically do it, I would go up to each woman and just shake them and be like, you have it. Like, you are it, Yeah. But that's why I'm doing this, because I hope it reaches more people to really touch them and say, hey, there is no problem, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you are going to change the world, my darling. There's no doubt. Your intention is in line with what the universe wants for us. So, you will just be supported. You cannot not be supported, because what you're trying to do is, it's not about it being noble. It's like you're doing the most fun thing you can possibly do, yeah? And that is the gift. That's the release from fear that allows other people to know it.
Yeah. Amen to that. I think that that's so important. And, something that I said, Ricci, when I started my business, and started traveling around the world, I got fired on a Friday, and I, on a Monday, had to start doing, everything from scratch, because I had no idea what I was going to do. And I remember sitting as I was getting fired by my boss, which, P.S., I also wrote this article in the Elephant Journal, too.
Oh, wow. I have to look it up.
Yeah, and I talked about how it was the best day of my life. But I sat there and cried, and I said, this isn't you, this is God. This is the universe talking. Because I just felt it in my being. Yeah. So I'm just so grateful that women like you and I can connect and share this message that we're not preaching from a soapbox. We're actually sharing from experience that your life can change no matter where you are.
Absolutely. I was on antidepressants and in a dark night of the soul when I started the Institute, and it was like divine intervention. And there's nothing that you're experiencing right now that is too big to bring you back to the divine, to bring you back to the life that you desire. And it's just all information. Just look at the fear, take it and use it to your advantage, and don't let it consume you. And there are ways to do that.
Yeah. Well, I could sit here and talk to you forever and have you just continue to share your wisdom and your strength and your magic, but I know you're a busy woman and you're a mother, and so I also want to say to all the moms out there, there is a both and conversation that you get to have all the time.
Totally. Yes, I can hear my two in the background are just starting to lose it, so it's a good time. It's a good time.
We're wrapping up so she can go tend to her beautiful children. So before you run off to them, Ricci, can you just share with us where the women can connect with you to reach you and work with you if they wanted, or to find out more about what you do?
Yes, absolutely. So my website is lightworkerinstitute.com.au, and I have a group on Facebook called I Am a Lightworker, all caps, and that is an incredibly supportive group of like-minded, mostly women, or men are invited into that space where you can actually talk about your own business. There's days where you can sell what you offer. You can also, of course, find Lightworker Institute on Facebook and on Instagram. I love me some Instagram. So they're probably the best ways to make contact.
Awesome. And did you want to share a little bit about the gift you're giving?
Well, look, I think, as you say, these conversations are so vital to everybody, and I would love to open up a 30-minute appointment time that you can book with me to talk more about any aspect of intuition and how I can support you to access your intuitive intelligence. I've stepped away from doing readings anymore because my passion is to show you what you are, and that is the intuitive guru of your own life. And so my great work, my favorite work, is to teach. I teach all around Australia, and I do have weekend workshops right through to 12-month programs to activate what I call the priestess within women who, she's in the world, she's doing and living and making money and raising babies, but she's working from her place of spiritual power. And once again, that's a system. So I'd love to offer people, the women on the call, to the chance to have a chat with me, and I'll also send you a copy of my guidebook, The Yearning, so that you can, really kind of keep reinforcing to yourself who you truly are.
And so all you ladies listening in, if you don't know how abundant you are, look at all the abundance of gifts you're receiving. This is amazing.
It is. It's so exciting. Malaine is Father Christmas.
It's exactly. Oh my God, Ricci, thank you so much for your time, for your love, for your energy, and for all those amazing gifts. I really appreciate you being here.
Oh, I'm so grateful, and I'm just so honored to have connected with you. So thank you for that opportunity.
So welcome. And ladies, for all of you listening in today, so grateful for you joining us. And until next time, wishing you an amazing day. Bye for now. Yay, that's a wrap. Sorry it went a little over.
Oh, that's no problem. Are you there? Oh, what amazing timing.
Okay. Yeah, I'm here. Do you hear me?
I do, but how incredible is that we didn't have one single interruption until then? Oh my God.
Do you know what's so funny, Ricci?
I can't hear you now.
All my experts.
You're completely dropping out now. I think that's
you can't hear me at all?
I can hear you a little bit. You're dropping in and out. I just think that's a freaking miracle. Oh my God.
Well, I'll type to you, but thank you so much for today's call. I adore you.
Oh, I adore you too, and it was so much fun. I just think that, that is one of my favorite tools. It's like they say, give away your best content, and that's one of my favorites. So I'm very excited we got to share it with everybody.
Do you know, as you were doing it, I literally had tears in my eyes, and I was like remembering so much stuff. And then at the end, when you were like book an appointment, I was like, holy shit, this woman is gonna like get a lot of fucking clients from this thing. I could just like feel it. So thank you for that. It was such divine timing for me. I needed that. That was wonderful.
Oh, well, thank you. I think what you're creating is so special. And my children were also miraculous. Literally, it wasn't until about 2 minutes ago that I heard screaming starting in the background. So I'll go hang out with them now.
Yeah, go hang out with them. And thank you, my love. And I will be in touch with some the promo information. And until then, have an amazing rest of your week.
Thank you. I'm off to Bali for yoga retreat tomorrow,
Ooh,
so I'm feeling pretty...
Enjoy!
Hence the reason my children are home with me today, mama guilt, so I can try and balance it all out. But yeah, thank you so much, darling. Have a beautiful day.
You're so welcome. You too, Ricky. Bye-bye.
Bye.